Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Yes, I'm going to be off camera for this stream because I have to get up before the ass crack of dawn tomorrow. So this is going to be like a relatively short stream, but we are going to cover as much as we can about the movie, give our own impressions of it overall, scenes and characters and so forth. But this is a sequel to the 2004 film National Treasure. This is National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets, which incidentally, the Book of Secrets itself that it's referring to actually doesn't appear until halfway through the movie.
Yeah. They should have called it the City of Gold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should have called it the City of Gold because you think, based on the title of the film, that like the catalyst for the plot would be something called the Book of Secrets. But in fact, it isn't. It's more like a plot device that moves the plot forward about halfway through the movie, which is criticism I have, at least as far as the title goes. So I don't care. It's fine that it's used. But yeah, but it should have been just called City of Gold or something like along those lines, pretty much. But anyway, while I tweet out that we're live, because I forgot to do the tweet, Orange Hat, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff, and then we'll go into our overall impressions of the movie, and then also deciding which one we prefer, the first or the second. So,
well, I do prefer the first. As I said last week, it had a better premise, and it also had it really embodied patriotism in my book in that one. As for who I am and whatnot, well, I am Orange Hat. You can find me here on Mars channel twice a month. You could find her on my channel on Thursdays twice a month, and you can find me on my channel and on now also Critic List, because I joined that to do reviews and whatnot. I am also on Twitter or X at OrangeHat2185. Also Facebook and Instagram, although I barely post on Instagram nowadays because it's just full of a bunch of e-thought scammers. But other than that, yeah, we got The Rock tomorrow, which funny enough, this movie and The Rock are actually linked in a way, which we'll go over tomorrow on my channel. Yeah. And we will also be discussing Face Off at the end of the month on my channel for a special singles. So yeah, I got a bunch of people who are like, you can't discuss Nick Cage movies without discussing Face Off. So it's like, all right, I'll ask her. And yeah, we got that planned. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Right. Well, it's been a while since I've seen Face Off. Like, I picked the initial two that we're discussing because I remembered those and remembered that I liked them. So I was like, I could easily talk about them. I enjoyed them. Face Off, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch. But as far as like these National Treasure films, I'm like you. I prefer the first one. I think it had a more cohesive plot to it. Not to at all ignore the patriotism behind it, but it felt like it was like elements in this film, particularly surrounding Ed Harris's character, did not make sense given the direction his character took. Yeah. Whereas Sean Bean's character, you could argue, is like a stereotypical villain, but at the same time, it's like it never altered to the point where it's like, okay, that arc does not make any sense. He was a villain basically through and through in the film, as opposed to what they did with Ed Harris's character in this film.
More complex.
A bit more complex. This one I appreciated because it was more personally connected to Nick Cage's character's Benjamin Franklin Gates's family's history. It's more of a personal connection versus just a story told about some Templar treasure that may or may not exist. in this case, this film is more like, hey, I'm going to prove this family member is innocent because of allegations made. Right? I do appreciate the personal touch to it. However, you think based on the title, the Book of Secrets is going to be the catalyst, ultimately driving Gates on his quest. Whatever the end goal is, it's going to be the catalyst driving him on his quest. But in reality, the Book of Secrets itself, which we find out is the president's book, an item that is only basically by presidents, for presidents' eyes only, sort of a situation.
Yeah.
Is not even really introduced until halfway through the film. And then it acts more like a plot point, a plot device, which moves the plot forward versus something critical to the actual plot. But I'm going to get into it when we talk about the characters, particularly Ed Harris's character. I'm going to get into my criticism. I think that his performance is fine. Like Ed Harris is a good actor, and like he did well with what he was given in the role that he had in this film. But there's certain aspects that eventually come to light with his character that I'm like, okay, then why did you start out this way? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But
not to mention you got
What?
to mention you got people literally shooting silencers at Nick Cage's crew. I mean, it's like, dude, are you trying to help him or are you trying to kill him?
Yeah, I'm saying like there's like it's like just tonally all over the place when it comes to his character. That I'll give my impression, like how I feel like his character should have been handled.
Yep.
Especially if they wanted to go away from the straight up villain aspect that was introduced with Sean Bean's character and introduce a new type of character that kind of propels Gates forward. There was an easy solution to that, in my opinion. If I were a writer on that script, and I would have gone back and rewritten some things. The thing is, Ed Harris to me wasn't a villain.
No.
Like he really wasn't a villain, which is why certain things I'm like, if they went back and changed one thing essentially about his introduction, it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Gravy, what's up?
Instead of being Silas Wilkinson, he could have been, well,
he could have been Silas. I'll go into it. He could have still been Silas Wilkinson, but okay, I'll straight up
Mitch
go into
Wilkinson.
it because I might Mitch. Yeah, but he could have been related. He could could have still had that angle to his character where he does have that piece of history that's connected to Gates' family. But all he had to do was say, was like introduce himself to Gates, and like, because Gates is telling the story to this class or like this seminar to these people about his great grandfather Thomas Gates, and how he kept these Confederate it's basically a Confederate terrorist organization, essentially the KGC. Kept them from finding this gold, this treasure, which would have been used against the Union and ultimately could have like led to the Confederacy winning. So all he had to do was introduce like, I have this piece, like, because he sees Thomas Gates' name on it. Now you could easily deduce that he might not have had Ben Gates on his radar until Ben Gates found the Templar treasure. Now he's putting two and two together with the seminar, basically. Ben Gates, Thomas Gates, and I have this piece of history. All he had to do was posit this question to Gates: what if there really is a treasure? Yeah. This proves your story. What if there really is a treasure? And he could have been more of a help than a hindrance to Gates moving forward. Just changing that aspect.
Yep.
Just changing that aspect. Given how he he apologizes at one point in the film, like, I'm sorry, I had basically had to disparage your family legacy.
Yeah.
So if he was truly an antagonist, if he was truly an antagonist, why would he apologize? It makes absolutely no sense given how they introduce him.
Yeah. He's like, it's the only way I could get you in on a hunt. And it's like,
well, no, there's other ways you could have gotten him on the hunt.
yeah, I mean, very much other ways, because basically accusing a person of being in on one of the darkest moments in our nation's history, not the best way to get a person's cooperation, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like,
and also the Gates, the one that was shot by the Knights of the Golden Circle, was the one from the beginning of the first movie who was bringing Carol to the White House.
Yes.
It was just that he was older because it was 1865, or it was 1860.
Yeah, April 14th, 1865, 5 days after the end of the Civil War. So it's the end of the Civil War. But the Knights of the Golden Circle still want to find this treasure. And like, there's like, basically historical a bit about how Queen Victoria was very interested in a divided republic. United States, because that made us weaker. So she clandestinely was helping the Confederacy, or hoping the Confederacy won, so it kept the United States split, sort of situation. Aspects like that, but I'm saying little things. So yeah,
also,
I'll be here Friday.
They also did screw up one thing in the date. Lincoln wasn't killed on the 14th; he was killed on the 15th.
Yeah.
So they did screw up a little bit.
Hollywood, but like the date they give at the beginning of the movie is April 14th. So like basically the end of the Civil War in 1865.
Unless they did like super late night theater.
Yeah, because it was a Friday.
Yeah.
When Lincoln was shot, I believe.
Yep. It was Good Friday, apparently.
Yeah, and
isn't that the Friday after Easter?
Before Easter, Good Friday. It's Good Friday, then Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
We ready to kidnap a president. That bit I actually kind of enjoyed when he's talking with the president. That bit I did enjoy when he's talking with the president.
Bruce
technically kidnapping him, but not really. sort of situation.
No, that's Bruce Greenwood, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that man is such a good actor. Dude has range.
Keely, what is up? Dawn has an ass crack. Well, yeah. When you're up before, you see it.
And if it's foggy on that day, it means the sun farted.
Yeah. So yeah.
Playing to the pun.
Mike Hill. I like to keep it a mystery. I like to keep it a mystery what's on page 47. I'd rather keep it
it's too late now.
I know, but I'd rather keep it a mystery. I don't want it explained.
Yeah. I mean, it's far too late now to do what's on page 47 because, well, they needed this movie to be successful, and I think it fell short of success. Yeah. Which is why they discontinued it.
Yeah. Well, the city in this movie is Cibola, not El Dorado. And where they have Cibola located in this film is South Dakota.
Inside of
Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore, apparently, and this movie was a cover-up to hide the location of the city of gold in this movie. So, like, And yes, this is Orange Hat Channel. I'll be there tomorrow talking The Rock. So make sure I say hello to everyone. Let's see. I'll be here. I'll be on my Twitch eventually. It's not easy given the schedule I have. Yeah. So yeah, it was like have no antagonist, which would have been different from the first movie, and would have been more in line with how his character kind of ended up.
Also, I do like how they kept it ambiguous as to what Patrick Gates thought or meant by At Least I Had Your Mother, however brief a time. I mean,
Mhm.
in the first movie, before you see this movie, you kind of think that his mother died.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really suggestive that it's like, at least I had your mother, however brief a time, and it's like, she died or something, because you
But
didn't
no,
even
she's
see her in the
introduced.
past. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, she's introduced in this film, played by Dame Helen Mirren. So, which
Fun fact on Helen Mirren, folks. She beat Beyonce in a bikini body contest.
I love that. Hey, Conroy.
Yeah, I just love that silence. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just stunned everybody to silence. But yeah, I remember seeing that on Entertainment Tonight. So this body beat out Beyonce in the bikini body contest, but you wouldn't know or you wouldn't believe who it is. Helen Mirren. It's like, the fuck?
Yeah. Which good, yeah. Well, TV show,
Yeah.
TV show was canceled, and I'm
Yep.
actually that actually kind of like in a weird way pleases me, because I always felt that Beyonce is rather mannish build
Yeah. I
in
mean, she
certain
did
certain
sing the
aspects.
song If I Were a Boy. So
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I'm pretty sure she secretly wishes. But I mean, it could possibly be that he was shot like shortly after midnight. I mean, this does take place like late at night,
yeah. Let me see. Hold on.
because it
Just
says
while
April
we're
14th.
talking about it, because the him being shot in the theater in the play, like, that's accurate.
Yeah. Like, what time was he shot?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Actually,
10:20
he was
p.m.
shot. Yeah, actually, he was shot 10:15 p.m. on April 14th, but he didn't die until April 15th. He
Okay, so
died
he
in the
survived.
morning from his wounds.
Oh my! He survived a bullet to the head for that long. Holy crap!
Yeah, he survived the bullet to the head for a little over 9 hours.
Yeah. And the thing is, they did this sequence, the assassination of Kennedy. They wanted to get it as close to real as possible, right down to the him or Wilkes Booth putting his hat or hanging his hat.
Yeah.
That was, or these were things that were actually recorded in history of what Booth was said to have done.
The only thing, according to the trivia, like, in the movie, it's basically outright implied that Booth said "Sic Semper Tyrannis."
Yeah.
And like he knew Latin.
Mm-hmm.
But it's according to the trivia I read. Let me see if I can find it. The historians, quote unquote, say that John Wilkes Booth studied Latin. However, real historians were would know that John Wilkes Booth, along with his brother and father, were famous actors, and their best known performance was of William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. In that play, the character of Brutus yells "Sic Semper Tyrannis" just before the famous slaying in the Senate. John Wilkes always wanted to play Brutus, but his father never let him, instead picking his brother Edwin for the role. It seems that John Wilkes did eventually get to say those famous lines on stage. So it's not like, he didn't say it just because he knew Latin and he was saying,
he did it because it gave him a little shot of vanity.
Yeah, basically a little shot of vanity in that sense. So, like, okay, Dad, you never let me say this in the actual play, so I'm going to say it after I just shot the president.
Yep. There was an old video of a person who actually saw the assassination on YouTube. The fuck? There's an old video of a person who actually saw the assassination on YouTube. Right. What?
Well, old video.
Oh, somebody who actually. Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think when film was actually and how old that person would be.
Razor
I mean,
Fist's Lincoln video. Okay, well, we'll have to look that up sometime.
okay, yeah. So I'm just like wondering. But anyway,
It would have had to have been a child because this was 1863 or 5.
65 is when Lincoln
Yeah,
was
5.
assassinated,
Keep on
and
trying to forget
film
that.
it wasn't really introduced until basically the early 1900s.
Yeah,
You
the
have like
cinematograph.
the 1910s, and
The cinematograph was done in the 1890s. It was what became film,
yeah,
but it still
But-
had no sound.
yeah. But it
So,
was like an actual film. Then it's
Mhm.
like, it's conceivable that like how I'm wondering how old that person was.
They
Anyway,
would have had to have been a young child at the time.
so
They
yeah,
would have had to because I mean, possibly 15 years old at the most.
he was
Because
a kid
45
then, and
years,
old man when they
60,
interviewed him. Okay,
70.
so,
Yeah, if they were like 5 or 6, then it's conceivable because they would have been like 60 years old when they gave the account.
yeah, I
on
know it
its-
shows like
on the
it's like,
recording.
hey, up next because you in your watch history.
Yeah.
But that's basically we're gonna kind of go through. It's like Thomas Gates is given a cipher, and he can't decode it without a keyword or a phrase, pretty much. And the phrase to find the key word is the riddle: "The debt all men must pay."
hmm
The debt all men must pay, which is like hence the title of the stream. And on the thumbnail, the debt all men must pay is death. 5-letter word. And I can't remember kind of what cipher he said it was, but that
Playfair.
Playfair. Okay, so he needed a word cipher, decode without the key. All right, so this is what basically would set up at the beginning of the film. Like I said, I appreciate this because it has a more personal connection
Yeah.
to Ben Gates versus just a general story that was handed down to him. And Thomas Gates realizes after deciphering the code and seeing the pin the one man who accompanied Booth was wearing, KGC, realizes he's pretty much helping traitors if he decodes this. So he rips the pages out of Booth's diary and burns the pages, but the man who accompanies Booth shoots Gates.
Yeah.
And retrieves a page from the fire before it's completely burned. One page, which is the catalyst essentially for driving the plot forward. We see just shortly after this opening segment. And we find we don't know exactly what treasure Gates is talking about now, but we find out later on it's Cibola.
I do believe he says it Cibola. He's like, it's Cibola. This is a treasure map.
Okay, it's briefly,
And,
but
yeah.
we don't know exactly what.
But we don't know
is.
what it means. Yeah.
We don't know what it means, but we find find out later on what. Okay, what is this treasure? Now, this is where, like I said, let me see if I can find, because we're we're gonna go through this pretty fast.
Yeah.
See if I can get a shot of Ed Harris. Okay, come on.
Oh, steps forward. There we go.
Well,
One step
Ed
back.
Harris is yeah. So hold on, let me see this. There. He's introduced. Now, like I said, Ed Harris is a good actor. The performance he gives is fine in this movie. He's good in the role that he's given. He works with what he's given. I'm not have anything against his performance. However, the way he's introduced here comes across as very duplicitous. Very duplicitous in nature because he's held onto this page for so long, and this is kind of pointed out with Harvey Keitel's character. A man has a page he's held on for decades, 140-year-old page for decades, and now all of a sudden he comes forward with it.
Why?
Why?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. You better. Better. I love that.
Better. Yeah, he's
just
better.
Why? Why is he all of a sudden coming forward? Yeah, he's not really a villain. When you actually look at the actions his character takes, I'm not saying necessarily that he's a good guy given his actions, but at the same time, he's not necessarily a villain.
Yeah.
All right. But the way he's introduced comes across as that. Yet, as the movie progresses, he really doesn't take that many villainous actions. He's more in the background. He's basically letting Gates do all the work. The only time he ever really confronts Gates necessarily is when he's trying to take that piece of a piece of an architectural piece with writing on it that Gates finds in Queen Victoria's desk and gives chase to him. Other than that, he basically stays in the background and just like watches from afar.
Yeah. That scene in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love Nicolas Cage's accent. When he slides
Yeah.
down the banister and like he's stopped by one of the guards and Nick Cage goes, "Hello."
Hello.
I love
Been
that.
drinking on, have we? Just a bit
Just a
of
nip.
bit of all right.
All right.
Gonna arrest a man for that. Going to detain the blighter for enjoying his whiskey.
I love that. Like he's doing that. Like he's blatantly doing that to get himself arrested.
Yeah, and it's like,
But
it's
it's
like,
still
okay,
fun.
sir, let's go. Back in the match. What? Bubble squid. What? Smoking apple pie, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I know. And he does, like I'm saying, like he does kind of like, but then again, he's not really holding her necessarily hostage because it's
No.
only for a second.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, my God,
So-
man. When he then sings, I got a bunch of coconuts, and it's like, oh dear Lord.
Yeah. So, and like Diane Kruger is like, just like she's like returning character along with the actor who plays
John Voight
Riley.
and Riley.
Yeah.
She had a crush on Riley, folks.
Yes.
She has a thing
So-
for nerds.
He's a thing for nerds,
Nerd!
and he's still very much of a nerd in this one. He's still very much like a little bit of the comic relief,
More of a
and he has
super
like a
nerd.
shining moment, much like the first one, where like he knows something that like I can't that Big Gage doesn't know.
Nick Cage or Gigawatt, to answer your question, no, Nick Cage was not acting in that scene. He was purely in him or being himself.
So very, very much himself. Very much himself. But like I said, like, with his character, with his character, could have easily done away with the whole antagonist angle, so you weren't copying the first movie and just had him he's had this entirely plausible. He's had this page within his family and not made the connection because he doesn't know the Gates family, or at least like he doesn't like know that the Gates has descendants,
Yeah.
right? It's like at least that he can find easily until Ben Gates breaks into the news for finding the Templar treasure. Now he can put two and two together, sort of a situation, based on stories passed down through his family and so forth. Oh, this, and the fact that Gates is giving a seminar on a man named Thomas Gates, and I happen to have a piece of paper with a name of Thomas Gates on it, there might be a connection. So all he would have had to do, in my opinion, because I'm coming at this from to be a good writer, you need first you need to be a good editor. And I'm editing this as I'm watching this movie with his character.
Mm-hmm.
All he had to do was introduce himself to Gates and say, "I have this piece that you mentioned. This is proof that you're what you're saying is true. What if the city does exist?" Hey, Megatron. And that would be the catalyst. Like, you have the brains. Like you have like clues you got. I have clues.
Yeah.
Because he had clues. He had clues. So we can work together.
Yeah.
And would not have been a repeat of the first movie. He could have still had a noble death. He could have still had a noble death because he sacrifices himself. in the end, he sacrifices himself so the others can get away. And it would have made more sense, given where that character ended up in that situation, if they had started out with like he's actually genuinely just wants to know. Like he believes that he's the one who believes the city of gold does exist based on his, like the stories his ancestors has passed down through his family. But he did not have all the clues.
Yeah.
Until he discovers Gates. That's what I would have changed about this film.
Well, not only that, there is a very big objective flaw here.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1860s, La Boule, Lady Liberty and whatnot. However, Queen Victoria sent the Resolute desk over to the U.S. with a piece of the map.
Okay. Let my cat out.
Yeah, with a piece of the map in the desk. But here's the thing. She already knew that at this point when she sent it over, the Union had already won.
Yeah.
So, there is a little bit of conflict in the writing of the story, which is why you should never use TV for your history lessons.
Yeah. So, I still find this movie entertaining overall.
Oh yeah, dude.
I still find it entertaining overall, but like I'm watching this going, that doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't quite make sense. And like we'll cover like the actual Book of Secrets, because the Book of Secrets is not, like I said, it's not the driving catalyst in this film.
Yeah.
So, but
there is one scene in Windsor I got to talk about, or in Buckingham that I got to talk about. You know the scene where they're going up the elevator when he's holding the flowers.
Hold on, let me see if I can find that. Go ahead.
He actually wanted to do that on purpose because he wanted to pay tribute to Bambi.
Okay. Pay tribute to Bambi.
Yeah, to Flower. We got ads. You gotta let the ad
right
play.
Here on. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen while this like plays, because gotta love that about Hulu.
But yeah, he's like, I like how he says, he's like, she's like, it's the flowers, man. No, it's not. And then he starts rapidly blinking his eyes as his face is down in the flowers. That is straight out of Bambi.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Come on. I hate when like ads play and I'm trying to get to that part.
I mean, yeah, Nick Cage is a hell of a guy, Soul Assassin.
I can't skip the ads. Sorry, Chad. It won't let me skip the ads. Thank you, Hulu.
Yeah, I know, right?
But anyway, so that's like a.
But yeah,
doesn't Nick Cage have like a T-Rex skull in his house?
Pretty sure he
I could have
sits in it.
sworn, yeah, he's like a T-Rex skull, and like when he was asked like why, he's like because I can, like he wanted it. He's like just because he wanted it.
I mean, Nick Cage, this dude says he's got like 4 or 5 movies left in him now, and it's like, then you should have waited to do the movie The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. But yeah,
I would have should have been like a swan song type of movie.
Exactly. It's like, this is my last movie where I'm playing myself, playing a character, playing myself.
Yeah.
I love that movie too. I mean,
nearly 2 minutes worth of ads. Like, what the fuck, Hulu?
That's why I went ad free myself. But yeah, only a bitch would ask that question.
I want to get so. And Riley, basically we're kind of talk about because Abigail Chase other than her and Gates starting the movie they're broken up.
Mm-hmm.
They're split up, but they get back together.
Yeah.
There's really nothing different necessarily about her character. There's really nothing too much has changed about her character.
I know somebody who actually has a 3D printer, and they printed a freaking Velociraptor skeleton.
That'd be cool.
They actually did that, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, why? And funny enough, because I could. But yeah, this scene right here, where he's looking at her, and then he just starts, or he starts sweet talking her, and then he starts blinking rapidly. It's hilarious. It's like, you're wearing the perfume. I got you.
Yeah. It's not slowing my computer. I had to wait like 2 minutes for the stupid ads on Hulu to play before I could skip it to this scene.
Ad block on Hulu and shit won't work.
Yeah. So I'm like, it wasn't like YouTube slowing my computer down. I had to wait so that way I could actually skip to this scene to show like what he was talking about.
Streaming services like CBS Plus, Paramount Plus, Hulu, and all of them have firewalls directly or specifically designed to combat coding that is inside of all ad blockers. So their firewalls are incredibly powerful. You would actually have to hack into Disney Plus or hack into the streaming service itself and basically break through their firewalls to destroy the firewall for ad blocking. And believe me, you don't want to get caught doing that because you'll get feds on your door.
No, this is Hulu, so
no, yeah.
So I have like the I don't have the ads free version, but anyway, which is fine. But like I said, like I'm with Trey, like basically having them split up makes it the same arc as the first movie, pretty much, like where it's having so nothing really changed.
Works.
Yeah. And then Riley has written a book.
Based on conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Fairly unsuccessful, at least the impression I'm getting at the book signing, because there's like people are passing him. Yep.
Yeah.
I did get a kick out of the fact that he's at a Borders bookstore, and I'm like, they're not around anymore, so that's fun to watch.
No wonder they didn't buy his book.
Yeah, so he's like he's sitting there, like people are passing him, like a couple cute young women walk up, like one thinks he's Ben Gates, or one like doesn't know who he is. One doesn't know who he is. One thinks he's Ben Gates, and his Ferrari gets towed because his Ferrari gets towed because apparently the accountant he hired set up a quote unquote corporation
on an island that doesn't exist.
Yeah, because that's what rich people do. So he got audited.
Yeah. And
he's like,
how's your day?
Yeah, it's like, I love the line, like, do you know what taxes are on $5 million? $6 million.
$6 million. Yeah. It's like, well, my girlfriend left me and kicked me out, and my family killed President Lincoln.
Yeah, so it's kind of like with Ghostbusters 2. Didn't like it there, don't like it here, pretty much, because it creates the same arc as the first movie, which is pointless.
Yeah. One of the things oh my God. One of the more, it's a small moment, but it's a powerful moment, was at the beginning when you see, hey, fuck Norris. When you see Patrick Gates, he's like, what am I looking for? Where's the answer? Where he is just broken after they have the page and they reveal that it could have indeed been ripped out. And it's like, what am I looking for? Where's the proof? And you see Nicolas Cage looking at his father like, I can't let this pass. I just can't. This is not happening to us.
And it's like, so.
I mean, you see that Jon Voight plays absolutely broken in that moment.
Mm-hmm. You had to argue it's just lazy writing, because it's a trope. You can tell they're going to get back together.
But she actually went out with Ty Burrell. So I forgive him. Ty Burrell, man. The dude plays a sucker in a lot of different movies. Incredible Hulk. He plays Leonard Sampson, the doc. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's going out with friggin' Liv Tyler's character. She immediately sees Bruce. They're back together.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit, dude. And then you see in this movie, she goes out, or he's going out with Diane Kruger. And, well, then yeah, she gets back with it's like, you poor sap, you've been cucked so many
Yeah.
times in movies.
So now we know his character origin in The Hangover. Wrote a book, found chick, got engaged, and locked on the roof in Vegas. Yeah, this is basically a headcanon origin story for his character in The Hangover.
Yeah. It's like, oh my
So-
God. I mean, Ty Burrell, his middle name, or it's TCB, Ty Cuck Burrell.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, but Riley wrote a book, and that's like basically kind of where his moment to shine is, because they're trying to figure out. They found this piece with pre-colonial Native American writing on it in
Yep.
Queen Victoria's desk, and they easily deduce and plausibly deduce that there's a piece missing. Because there's a piece after they take it to Ben's mother, because she can't translate it entirely because there's a piece missing. And Riley knows about something called the President's Book,
Yeah.
which is the Book of Secrets, and you find this out halfway through the movie.
By the way, the scene where they were out in front of the White House after they infiltrated and whatnot, you can see in some scenes the Secret Service is on the roof watching them due to the fact that it's out in front of the White House. They're like, yeah, we got snipers stand by just in case these fuckers try anything. It's like, I don't think they will, but go ahead.
The name really doesn't fit. The name really doesn't fit. It sounds cool. It sounds like Book of Secrets. What's the Book of Secrets?
Yeah.
What we find out is the President's Book, and it's basically like a book believed that be basically pieced together intelligence information of national secrets for presidents, by presidents, for presidents' eyes only.
Mm-hmm.
No one else can look at this book, only presidents can. So it's called the President's Book. And that section that they find the book in, it actually doesn't exist. That section is doesn't have books in it it's portrayed in the film. They actually had to build that set with the rows of books, and then once they were done filming, tear it down.
Yep. I love this. I brought you to the Library of Congress, and we're all saying the same thing. Listen to Riley, and then they're back in the Library of Congress to find another book, which is the President's Book. And I love that. Area 51. No. All right. Oh, the Kennedy session. We don't have time.
Yeah, we don't have time. Hey, Ancient One. Let me So we're kind of skipping over parts basically because we're kind of a little bit on my end basically because I have to get up really early. I constrained time. So, but I want to talk about. Hold on, see if I can.
Yes, the presidential. Or the president kidnap. I'm going to kidnap the president of the United States. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. So the way, quote unquote, kidnaps the president of the United States, and the way they do it is actually I found ingenious, and that was they booked every conceivable possible location the president could have his birthday celebration. I think it was his birthday celebration at. Yeah. And they booked every conceivable location but Mount Vernon, because Gates. Ben Gates has a map handed down from from a former slave through her family, showing an underground tunnel under Mount Vernon, part of the underground railroad, underground tunnel, and so forth. And he Gates knows at least a little bit about the president and how he's an admirer of George Washington. So he brings this along. And not only is the president an admirer of George Washington, but he's an admirer of architecture. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't take much convincing in that regard to get the president to find the secret tunnel.
And essentially he kidnapped himself too, because, he went along with it.
Yeah, he went along with it. And I put kidnapping in quotes. Because he really doesn't kidnap him. Kidnapping implies holding hostage, holding for ransom, things like that. He really doesn't. He just wanted to get the president alone because he knew I can't ask the president what I need to know. if he's with other people. He has to be by himself because of plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts him in a situation where it's like, the president can deny telling him this information easily because there's no one else around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The president could have easily said to the Secret Service, do not put out a manhunt on him. We got out. He let me out. There was no problem. The door closed behind us. He could have easily explained it then, but he had to, or apparently it works better for the plot device that, well, he's being hunted because he kidnapped the president.
Yeah. So, I'm saying, because, basically, that's another thing that doesn't quite make sense because you point out that he could have easily done that. It's like, oh, we were, we went into the room, the door shut behind us, and Ben Gates got me out.
Yeah.
Before he even says that at the end of the movie. There's basically what kidnapping? As I recall, we were doing this and the door shut behind us.
Yeah. And not to mention, we see that Ben Gates cannot negotiate at all because he's like, and let me guess, you're not going to let me out of here until I give you what you want. The way out is right there.
Yeah.
Just follow.
I think that works. I think that works because he's, yes, granted, to borrow what Soul Assassin says, just borrowing without permission sort of situation. Yeah. The president, he's honest. I feel like that worked in his favor. Yes, it worked for the plot, but it also worked in his favor because basically being straight up honest with the president.
Mm-hmm.
It's more easily the president would believe that he's all he just wants to find this because he wants to exonerate his great grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I think him being honest to a fault actually works in his favor in this regard.
Yeah.
It's so.
Yeah. And I like how he's like, Thomas Gates gave his full measure or his last full measure of devotion to stop the KGC. I believe that when people die for their country, they should be honored for it.
Yeah.
Last full measure of devotion. Lincoln's my favorite president, sir. So is mine.
Okay.
Wow, Conroy. It takes a lot to get banned from from OnlyFans, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. He knew lying wouldn't work. He knew lying wouldn't work, and it worked in his favor.
Yeah.
Because him being honest, in my opinion, gives it tells the president without in so many words that this man is he's honest about his intentions.
Mm-hmm.
He's not he doesn't say yes, he's technically kidnapping the president, but at the same time he just needed to get him alone. He's you have a man a president who's constantly surrounded by Secret Service. So yes,
and he tells him and he tells him it's 200 people know you held me against my will, and I can't tell them why. But it's you could just tell them the thing you said at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I know.
Just got stuck,
Yeah, again, movies overall still enjoyable, but when you stop and think about progression of the story, you're like, this doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah. I mean, he could have easily just said, or we'll find another way out. Just hold on. We're fine. As soon as the door closed, we're fine. We just need to find our own way out. We will find a way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But
anyway.
Yeah. So we then get to, oh my God, man. I love that. Oh, you see that? One look. Knife in the heart.
Yeah. That's Helen. Let's talk about real quickly about Helen Mirren's character. See if I can get us, because I'm fast. We're past when she's introduced.
Yeah, right there.
But she is she's the ex-wife of Patrick Gates, and she is the knowledgeable one on Native American culture, Native American history.
Yeah,
she's able to translate the writings on these pieces found. Well, at least one piece found, pictures of one piece found in Queen Victoria's desk, because Mitch Wilkinson has that piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then the picture of the one found in the president's desk. That's in the picture itself is in the Book of Secrets, so she's able to translate.
Yeah.
Everything. And this doesn't make sense with the progression of where his character ultimately ends up, but Mitch Wilkinson gets to her first because he's somehow tapped Patrick Gates' cell phone, so he's able to be one step ahead of the Gates family in this quest. So he gets to her first, and he has a gun. Ultimately, basically, essentially, like you don't if you warn him in any way, like he's going to use his gun on Patrick Gates. But then, like,
Yeah.
when Gates, when Gates, Abigail and Riley, basically Patrick Gates essentially quote unquote meet Wilkinson, his cronies, and his mom at Mount Rushmore, this man's willing to leave his guns.
Yeah. Also, fun thing, the message of the hummingbird was actually explained in a deleted scene. It's like, or they're like, we cut that scene out because, well, pacing and time. It's like, yeah, except that there's no explanation for it. The hummingbird was good. Now, the case of the hummingbird it was a story that she told her son about a mother's sacrifice. And leading and following their mom would lead them to where they needed to go. So that's how he knew where to go.
Yeah.
So getting into
I think
it,
they could have easily included that scene if they'd just gone back and rewritten some stuff.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
They probably could have.
So yeah, I think it's somewhat like a combination of fear and frustration John Voight experiences with his ex.
Because of that run with the secret stitching. There was secret stitching.
Yeah, so they even fight like they're still married in those scenes. Pretty much.
Also
they even fight like they're still married.
I like the introduction to the character. I mean, she has a way of, well, or then you see that girl coming out. I hate her. We're in the right place.
Right place. I love that introduction to her character because Riley is like, you know what? I'm going to stay out of the line of fire. Just looking like he's
And I also like how Patrick goes to get up when she starts translating. She just has to look at him and he sits his ass back down. It's like, really? Sit.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I don't think they were estranged because he or at least let's put it this way. It contradicts what was said, as Orange had pointed out in the first one, where Patrick Gates says, I had your mother for however brief a time. All right.
Well, 32 years.
Yeah, so like this, if they're estranged at this point, that time is no longer brief.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming, like, she's going by her maiden name. If you look at the credits, like, she's not listed as like Gates.
I'm guessing
her character's not listed as Gates. She's going by her maiden name, so that tells me that they're actually divorced.
Yeah.
So.
But then we get to Mount Rushmore, and I like how they are the whole scare gag that they do, or putting the arm in.
Yeah, I would have done this. I would have done the same thing.
Who wouldn't?
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have done the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, again, because Wilkinson has clues that Gates does not have.
Yeah.
So.
Because Riley's trying to figure
out what, like.
Yeah.
Riley's like in his own ways trying to figure it out, and it's like I'm like, just stop while you're behind.
Yeah, dude. It's like, dude, you're in the back flapping your arms like a chicken, and there's nothing noble about that. So stop, please.
Yeah. And Wilkinson is like, it's like, if you're all through, I have the next clue. I have these sort of situation. That's why it's like I said, like, if he had just been working with Gates the whole time, if they had been like basically essentially exchanging notes, would have made sense. Didn't
Yeah.
need the whole car chase thing. Didn't need like I get basically it's a repeat of the first movie with the car chase in that one, except in this like in the first movie,
Yeah.
it's
They step it up a little bit.
it's so it's like we wouldn't have needed repeats, repeated plot beats in this movie to the first one if they had changed his character, because it would have made his death better.
Mm-hmm.
It would have made like his like like that, because his death is supposed to be or would have been a more noble sacrifice if they had altered his character. I know I keep harping on that, but I'm saying like that's like the big thing about this movie that just gnawed at me when I watched it again. Like that's why I don't really remember this movie, because it's not well written in regards to character development in certain sense. So they try to give him a sacrificial death, but it's not earned. It's really not earned, in my opinion, at least based on the writing. Ed Harris gives a good performance, but the writing his character doesn't earn it.
Yeah. There's also a character that plays, or that's one of the bad guys, or one of Booth's or Wilkinson's guys, Timothy Murphy. I swear to God, he and Michael Fassbender seriously need to do a movie together where they're older or where they're brothers, because they look so much alike each other. Just had to say that because this is a movie that we're discussing, and Tim Murphy happens to be a part of it. So,
yeah.
If you look at the guy, he also freaking hijacks a bus in London. Get out of the way! It's like,
I mean, like I said, the movie itself is overall entertaining. Like that scene is entertaining because he's like hijacked a bus in London.
Yeah, it's like, get out of the way! Not to mention, he's actually shooting a silencer and shit. It's like, dude, why are you trying to kill him if you're trying?
If you need them to find the next clue, stop shooting at them.
Yeah, it's like, holy crap, man.
Because I'm like, what if you accidentally hit and killed Gates? Well, you're fucked now because you can't find the treasure.
Not only that, you're gonna have to explain a murder in London.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody all knows this. Yeah. A lot of cameras in London.
Well, I mean, they pretty much pointed out when he's like, does the camera work on your phone? No, it's like busted. And like he speeds through a red light to get the traffic cam to take a picture of it.
Yeah, hack it to the London police and get a copy of that photo. What, you can't do it? Oh, I could do it. I just don't like how you assume I could do it. Thank you, Riley. Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
Really? And I love that look. He's like,
he's like, really?
Just fucked eye, like fucking. I'm gonna.
Let me see if I can just get a shot of the City of Gold. They do find the City of Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're split up. They get split up. So basically, Patrick Gates and Ben's mother had to go one way, and the rest of them had to go another way. Try and get a shot of it.
Yep, John Voight shined in this one. He got to swing from a van.
And they even lighted similar to how they lit up the Templar treasure. So again, you're just repeating the beats of the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Demongenai.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a shot of the actual. So what is
the forward cycles? Yeah, hit the forward cycles. Or the forward 10 and shit. All right. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
So they do find the actual Cibola, as it's called, Cibola. And I just plot points in this movie, like I said, I do find it entertaining. How Mount Rushmore was a cover up to hide this city of gold. Or hide the location.
By the way, folks, a city or gold of that amount, which is technically more than Fort Knox, you're looking at enough money to pay off our current national debt.
Yeah, wish something like this existed. However, I wouldn't trust the politicians at all that we have
No,
now.
I wouldn't either. However, Riley got approximately $30 million from that one chunk of gold, probably a little bit more at the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
So.
Riley got, or I like how Riley gets lucky at the end of this one, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're
like,
looking
with
for
the help
the
from
other
the
guy.
president.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, man, you're Riley Poole. And it's like he just drops his bag full of souvenirs. And you hear it crash, and it's like,
yeah, you hear a crack.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, dude, really? But hey, man, she was hot. I'll say that. She was attractive.
And the when they filmed actually and that, like where they were filming around like for Mount Rushmore, they actually displaced a prom that was supposed to happen.
Oof.
So let me see if I can find it. Disney discovered that the shooting schedule at Mount Rushmore would displace a local Hill City High School prom that is held annually at that location. So to make up for this, Disney paid for the prom by providing transportation to a new location in Rapid City, door prizes at the prom, and scholarships for the valedictorians.
Back when Disney was noble.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Back
they
when
realized
Disney...
that they were displacing these students.
Yeah.
But
then again, it's probably like the school's like, hey, maybe we can get Disney to work for us for a change.
Yeah. So when Disney actually had some integrity, like whoever's like who made that decision when it like it actually had some integrity, and you know,
I mean, the thing with Riley and getting his car back tax free, there's just one major problem. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, tax free, that's awesome." Yeah, no insurance will be covered under a tax-free item. So
we better start
Riley
selling
kind of
those
got yeah.
Yes.
It's like, dude,
better start selling those books.
better. Yeah. Holy shit.
And yeah, again, this is like played for laughs, but at the same time, I'm like, he accidentally puts his car in reverse, and I'm like, how long have you been driving this vehicle?
Dude, seriously, you should know better.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
especially after 3 years.
So, but like I said,
I mean,
we didn't touch on everything that happened in this movie. Like the big points were very much breaking into, like finding the clues to break into, well, not break into Buckingham, but like to break into Queen Victoria's desk, break into the president's desk in the Oval Office, and kidnap the president to discover where the president's book is located to find the City of Gold.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the big plot beats in this movie.
Yeah.
So overall, I found it entertaining. The humor when there was humor, most of it landed. Most of it landed. Most of it was sold. Pretty much, most of it landed. Like I think my favorite parts, as far as humor goes, or two of my favorite parts, as far as humor goes, was Nick Cage's acting as himself, essentially, in Buckingham Palace when he's getting arrested.
Yeah,
I love
Drunk
that
Cage.
Scene. Yeah, Drunk Cage. Love that scene. And the second one is when they're talking to those French cops.
Yeah.
And I love when one of the French cops looks over at Riley. It's like, is that your
it's a nice helicopter. Is it yours?
Yours? Then you get the ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, great. You get the ticket. It's like Riley has been. It's like, dude, your car gets stolen. You got to pay a ticket in France. It's just going bad for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I give this one about a 7 out of 10. AK Roberts.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know Montesquieu?
Yeah. Montesquieu.
I haven't read about Montesquieu since high school, so yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I do do not get your history from Hollywood. However, I do overall appreciate like this movie much like the first one and how it uses history as clues. Yeah, so it's like to find a treasure of sorts. Hey, Medalong, so we were like essentially wrapping up. So I hope you all enjoyed the replay if you're showing up late. Because we didn't touch on everything in this movie, like because the big things like to me was Ed Harris's character, in terms of rewriting his character, and certain aspects that didn't quite make sense as far as historical facts, quote unquote, given that drive the plot forward. Did overall appreciate the personal connection that I said early on to the Gates family, so it wasn't just basically just an overall tale told like by his grandfather or anything. No, this is like more of a personal connection to the Gates family.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a step down from the first one. A step down from the first one, which I feel like if they'd made just a few changes, would have been still not quite as good as the first one, would have been better. Yeah, the cliffhanger gave hope for a third film, but because this one did not do well, third film was nixed. So, like I said, I feel like this film would have done well if they had made changes similar to what I said I would do for this film. If they had changed, particularly in regards to Ed Harris's character, but if they had changed a few things, I feel this film could have done well enough that we would have gotten a third film.
Probably.
Not trying to boast, but I'm looking at this going, here's where it doesn't make sense. Here's where you could have changed it so it does make sense. So I'm kind of looking at it as like an English teacher of sorts reading an essay a student is giving me going, okay, you want to go from point A to point B to point C, but you're skipping, point A to point D, but you're skipping a little bit of point B and point C. Here's where you need to change it. So.
Okay, I looked up why they canceled. Development had stalled in 2018 because Disney's priorities laid elsewhere. 2018 was when Disney started ramping up the DEI.
Yeah, so and at this point we're not going to get it's now 17 years.
Yeah, a white lead was a bad thing back then. Yeah.
So, but even then, I don't think
as Soul Assassin says, page 47 was what's under.
Well, it wasn't Aliens or JFK because we hear Riley saying Area 51, like Kennedy assassination. We don't have time.
As he's flipping through.
So I doubt it's Atlantis.
Yeah.
I doubt it's Atlantis. But I can't say that based on the lines.
It's like, hey, not buddy. Yeah.
So
I like how small thing here though. I like how when they go to Keitel, it's like our buddy Gates is back in the paper again. What did he do now? Find Atlantis?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, so I was saying with the Ark of the Covenant and have it connected to Raiders of the Lost Ark. That would have been like just
right.
I would have laughed so hard. Anyway, but that is National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. It's like we didn't cover everything, but I think it's a overall decent sequel to the first one. It's a step down from National Treasure, and I would not want a third one now because I do not trust Disney at all.
No, we don't.
And you see, how well they did with the show when they introduced, identity politics into the National Treasure show, and that's canceled. So see how well that worked. So see how trustworthy they would be doing a third one. But
I didn't even check out the National Treasure show. I refused to.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I'm fine with it just being 2 movies right now. I'm fine with it just being 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, like basically introducing a whole identity politics angle when it came to immigration and shit like that, and it's like just no. I feel like we probably could have had it sooner if they had rewritten it to make certain aspects of the plot make sense. I think we could have had it a bit sooner. But c'est la vie. Essentially, we only have 2 National Treasure movies. Both are entertaining. First one is better, in my opinion, than the second one. But even comparing the second one to what we have now, I would find it still entertaining. However, comparing it to what we have now, leagues better than what we were getting. So it's
yeah.
It holds your attention. It's enjoyable. There are plot holes in it. However, still hold your attention. So.
Yeah, it
it'll
does.
be 20 years this year. 20 years ago this year, 2004 with the first one. So.
Yep.
So, but anyway, so thank you,
fun.
chat.
It was a
thank
fun
you,
one.
chat. Yeah. So that is the 1s and 2s for this month with the Nick Cage theme. So National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. Tomorrow I will be on Orange Chat's channel where we'll be talking about The Rock from 1996. I rewatched it a couple days ago, and so very much enjoy it. Another movie again. Another movie like Orange Chat pointing out that stars Ed Harris and Nicolas Cage. So, and I was like, holy shit, that's that actor. Holy shit, that's that actor. Oh my god, that's that actor. Yeah. So, and I'm like, I'm looking at Nicolas Cage. I'm watching this movie and looking at Nicolas Cage, and then looking at the actress who plays his girlfriend, and I'm like, come the fuck on. Really? All right. Because she was kind of big in the 90s, Vanessa Marcil, and I haven't really seen anything of her after the 90s, really. So, but I'm like, all right. Because there's a whole joke in it about prom queen. It's like, it's like Carla was a prom queen because, like, it's like kind of like, I love what Sean Connery's pointing out, like how Nicolas Cage's character is kind of a loser.
Yeah. We'll get into that tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just like, I just like laughed at that. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting into.
I got some good trivia for that one tomorrow.
We're getting into that tomorrow, and then the 31st, because next Wednesday will be the top 10 films from 1983. So that'll be obviously on my channel. That's with Stieg, where we go into our own personal subjective top 10s for the year 1983. Just 1983. So not 1980s, year specific. So we'll be touching on that. And then the following week, since there's 5 Wednesdays in this month, we'll be doing a special singles on Orange Chat's channel. So we'll be covering Face Off.
Oh, yeah.
I could eat a
peach for hours.
Yeah, so let everybody know again, Orange Chat, where they can find you, what you have coming up, and all that fun stuff.
Well, I have singles tomorrow. Friday night, I might be doing Orange Hat Uncensored with Janet and Bruce from Dick's Division. Sunday, I will be doing my weekly recap. I'm sorry I haven't been getting a lot of content out, but the content will be on the weekly recap. Tuesday will be my theme stream Versus again. I have brought back Versus for this month. I might actually turn the theme streams into the Versus streams again for movie Versus, because it seems to, well, bring it back, you know. It's going to be Volcano versus Dante's Peak. So stay tuned for that. And then next week or Tuesday night will be the Barroom Podcast on Society Reviews channel.
All right. And
So,
kind of recap where you can find me moving forward. Again, tomorrow on Orange Chat's channel, Talking The Rock. Friday, at the very least, on my Kick, playing a couple games. First the finals, and then moving a little bit on to Halo Master Chief Collection multiplayer. So Gigawatt, I know you're in the Calman. Of course, Calman shows up and goes, "Face Off." Yes, next Wednesday the 31st, Calman. We'll be talking Face Off on Orange Chat's channel.
Yeah.
But Calman, since you're in the chat, and Gigawatt, and again, playing Halo MCC multiplayer. So Gigawatt, if you want to join in when we play that, you're more than welcome. Yeah, no more drugs for Calman. No. Saturday.
No more drugs for Yusa.
I don't know if I'll be able to do an afternoon stream, because we're doing a birthday get together, family get together for my brother's birthday that was last week, and my mom's birthday that's this coming Saturday. So basically celebrating both together. So I don't know when I'll be free. So if I don't stream in the afternoon, then I should be streaming in the evening on my Nerdy Homes channel for our Talk Nerdy to Us. If for whatever reason Talk Nerdy to Us has to be moved to Sunday, then I'll do a gaming stream Saturday evening. So, of course, Cowman, I'm coming like quoting Face Off pretty much. So that's like the weekend schedule, and then basically Monday back to Mass Effect 3 on my Kick. So yeah. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you all next time. I'm going to pass out. So take care and peace.
Stay humble.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.